When we picture artificial intelligence, we often imagine glowing lines of code in a digital void. The physical reality looks more like these excavators tearing into a Texas plain to pour concrete for a gigawatt-scale data center. By June 2026, the financial scale of this construction reached astronomical levels. OpenAI closed a funding round with $12.2 billion in committed capital, resulting in a private valuation of $852 billion. Those valuations offset a massive internal cash burn. To train and operate these models, the company projects operating losses totaling $115 billion through the end of the decade. Training frontier models has become an industrial engineering problem, defined by massive land use, the electrical demand, and procuring millions of chips. Sam Altman steered this transition. Under his direction, a nonprofit research lab became the driver of the most expensive infrastructure build-out in modern history. Understanding the future of AI now requires tracking the concrete, the copper wire, and the physical footprint necessary to sustain its growth. The initial bottleneck was legal. A nonprofit structure cannot attract the hundreds of billions of dollars needed to purchase millions of high-end processors. In October 2025, OpenAI restructured to solve this. They dissolved their capped profit limits and converted into a Delaware-based public benefit corporation. This new corporate vehicle enabled a pivot toward hardware. OpenAI began developing custom AI silicon and launched a $6.5 billion collaboration with designer Jony Ive to build dedicated consumer devices. The public benefit corporation structure functions as a calibrated financial tool designed to fund and sustain physical hardware dominance. In early 2025, OpenAI launched the Stargate Project. This $500 billion joint venture with SoftBank and Oracle aims to build AI data centers on a global scale. Larry Ellison's Oracle took the lead in managing the physical rollout, beginning with a massive flagship campus in Abilene, Texas. The Abilene footprint includes 10 buildings housing 450,000 GPUs. At full capacity, it draws 1.2 gigawatts, enough to power 1 million homes. Expansion continues with a $7 billion facility in Michigan and international nodes in the UAE, Norway, and the UK. Operating at a multi-gigawatt scale across several continents gives the company the physical footprints and energy requirements of a mid-sized nation. Scaling to thousands of acres and gigawatts of power requires state-level alliances and high-level security clearances. Rivals like Anthropic struggled with these requirements. The U.S. government eventually designated Anthropic as a federal supply chain risk, excluding them from critical national security contracts. OpenAI justified its strategic shifts in this paper, titled The End of the Foundation Model Era. The paper argues that releasing frontier models as open weights provides a strategic advantage for the U.S. that outweighs the risks of proliferation. This trend toward defense integration accelerated when SpaceX acquired xAI. AI labs are no longer acting as simple software vendors. They are becoming embedded components of the defense industrial base. Through these strategic shifts and infrastructure partnerships, the company has aligned its operations with the American national security architecture. On June 8, 2026, OpenAI moved toward the public markets, filing a confidential S-1 registration statement with the SEC. An IPO at this valuation allows early private investors and cloud partners to exit their positions. Retail investors and pension funds are the final buyers for a business model currently projected to burn $115 billion in cash through 2029. The IPO serves as the primary mechanism to fund the immense capital requirements of the physical AI build-out. This transformation raises ethical questions about fairness. From a Kantian perspective, concentrating such vast resources in the hands of a few tech elites challenges the principle of justice. While an elite group controls hundreds of billions in infrastructure, the automation powered by that hardware displaces labor and widens socioeconomic gaps. Hoarding physical infrastructure, the land, the grid, and the intelligence itself, concentrates power in a way that can undermine human dignity and equity. At this scale, AI infrastructure takes the form of a high-security utility grid integrated into the military-industrial complex. A democratic society must eventually ask if it can remain free when its most critical physical and intellectual resources are monopolized by a single corporate entity.